Hey folks, it's Trek Tuesday. I'm just going to talk a little bit about, not specifically a Dyson sphere, but an idea that came off of it, the ring world. Essentially, where a Dyson sphere is a full sphere around a sun, ring world is just a single band of stuff about 1,000 miles across circling a sun. So not nearly as energy efficient and not nearly as resource intensive, but still an incredible feat of engineering. They're featured mostly in Larry Niven's Ring World series, for obvious reasons. Just like the Ring World, they are immense. There's about 87 trillion square miles of space on a ring world. And that's assuming 70% water.
Yeah, that's on a ring world. The Dyson sphere is more orders of magnitude.
Dyson sphere has somewhere on the order of, I think, 6 trillion square miles. So, to give an idea of what that scale means, if every human on Earth were transferred to a ring world, we would each get about 12.5 square miles of space, and there'd still be some left over. When we encounter Dyson spheres in STO or Star Trek Next Generation, they're empty.
Uninhabited.
Uninhabited, not empty. And the concept of an uninhabited space that big boggles my mind.
Well, the thing is, the one in Next Generation had an automated greeting thing, but it was like, it had been there for a long time, and it was dying, basically. The Solanae Dyson sphere still has fully working automated defenses. They're called swarmers. I like to look at them and call them squiddies from like the Matrix, because they got the little hanging out the back. Yeah, there's a whole story arc going on, and the Voth have somehow figured out that the sun inside had something really go wrong with it, because it's at like 60% of the power it's supposed to be at. A catastrophic thing happened is why it's uninhabited.
So for the Solanae Dyson sphere, it makes sense for it to be uninhabited. There's a plot point, for lack of a better term, dictating it. Other Dyson sphere, the first one we encountered, it's kind of a mystery.
That sun was really dying. Okay. That really was just hitting it. And it's possible to, because they didn't get to study it too terribly well in the Next Generation, they never really came back to it. It could be understood that the Dyson sphere was also being used to create omega particles, but it didn't work very well because it was a first attempt. It was a first attempt.
Prototype.
And so the Iconians then moved out somewhere where nobody could get to them because they got bombarded from space by their enemies. So they went out, they found a species that they then made them build the sphere, and then they started manufacturing omega particles. And I still don't know why. I'm about to hit tier 5, and I hopefully may find out.
So, moving on from the Dyson sphere to the ring world, and I realize this is Trek Tuesday, but I'm only going a little off topic. The ring world had been inhabited for a few thousand years, maybe 10,000, which was long enough for divergent evolution to happen among the humanoids there, because the travel was so immensely far. And because of this, there's actually a bit of a plot point in the book, is that there are different humanoids, and they have been there for so long, but they aren't wiping themselves out. And that's... I hadn't realized that the sun in the Next Generation Dyson sphere was dying.
Well, that's part of the reason why, is they got chucked forward with the Enterprise, but then they were about ready to the star was highly unstable. If anything, I'll go back and we will rewatch that episode, because the star's unstable, and that's why it had abnormal gravity about it and whatnot.
Gotcha. The concept of seeding a Dyson sphere or a ring world, and then everything, or all of the sentient species at least, dying, always really threw me. Just because there's so much life, and then it would be gone. yeah, that's kind of my take on Dyson Sphere and some of its derivatives. Have a good day. See you tomorrow.
They brought Bajoran religions, effectively Cardassian religions, and Klingon with, they didn't really bring up Romulans, but them secretive, and